We're good. So
Okay.
thank you everyone that was able to make it today. It was fairly short notice. And then thank you, Shannon, so much for being here. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot, and everybody's appreciating the fact that you're here today. So firstly, I just wanted to start with an introduction. So can you talk a bit about yourself and your role within the University of Calgary?
Okay. So I am Shannon. I'm the student recruitment advisor for Calgary and area. So what that means is I work with our high schools in the Calgary and area, Western Canada being one of those high schools. Um, what I do for the University of Calgary is I go out and I'm talking to students, helping students figure out what is the process, what is the steps you need to take to applying to university, how do you do those steps. For me, my background is I spent 10 years, just over 10 years with the Calgary Board of Education, actually, in a high school as a career practitioner. So I would help all the high school students figure out what is their pathway, what is their steps to leaving high school, what's the next step. So now I'm doing that from the other side, helping high school students get into the university side of it. What do you need to get in? How do you apply for scholarships? What are the next steps once you've got your offer? Things like that.
Yeah, so it seems like you're very familiar with just students in general, and you've spent a long time doing that. So that's really great.
I have spent a
Um,
very long time. We won't tell you how long, but a very long time.
So next, could you just walk us through the application process? So a lot of the students here are going into grade 12 this year. So what do they need to start thinking about right now, as well as like just a general timeline?
Okay. So with the application process, what you're going to do first of all is you're going to go to Apply Alberta and you're going to create an account. Okay. And something I have always said, even when I was working in the high school side, is write down all the usernames and the passwords that you're going to create. You're going to start creating a lot of them, and they are case sensitive. And if you put them in wrong, you're going to find out that you get locked out of systems, and you're going to get locked out for 72 hours, which means you now need to get on contacting IT to let you back in, whether it's our system, Apply Alberta, or anything. Okay. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to create an Apply Alberta account, write down the username and password. And the reason I say that is the username and password you create there is going to be very different from the one you're using for the Calgary Board of Education. It's different from your Sephora and your Starbucks, okay? And then you're going to fill in some information in there. What you need to know is it's going to ask you a whole bunch of information. It's like an electronic hub, okay? It's going to be like a little holding center for you. It is actually what triggers the University of Calgary piece. You have to put some information in there. So you're going to put in your name, you're going to put in your, you have to know your Alberta student number. So look that up, not your CBE one, not the one you use. Okay. You have to put in that weird number you don't really know very much. And you're putting some information, put in all your education history. So if you've been in high school, all 3 years at Western Canada, you're going to put that in there. Make sure you start with grade 10. So September, and don't worry about the actual day. So September 1st, okay, would be a perfect date for 2018, because that's when you guys started grade 10. And you're going to write till June 30th of 2021. Okay, so you go from start of grade 10 to the end of grade 12. Okay, if you studied outside of Calgary, outside of Alberta, studied at a different high school, studied outside of Canada, make sure you also include those names in your application. Okay, so you put all that information in there, and you're going to put some information. It's going to ask you for some information about, give us your high school courses. The University of Calgary only uses grade 12, so 30 level courses. Okay, we're not going to ask you to give us your grade 10 or your grade 11. And we're going to ask you, there's going to be a question in there you have to put down what mark you've got. Okay, what mark do you think you're going to get in English 30-1? So English 30-1, you're like, well, it's in progress. How do I know what I'm going to get? Make sure you tell us it's in progress, and that's okay. We know you're in grade 12, you're taking that. So taking it, you're maybe finishing it in June, maybe you're finishing in January. Use your grade 11 mark, your 20-1 mark. That's the best indicator for just for us, you're putting a placeholder in there, okay? So what you need to know is you're putting a number in there. You're putting in 85, 90, 75, 76, whatever it is on your marks in there. But we're actually going to pull your transcript, okay? We're going to pull it from Alberta Education. So we actually don't care what number you're actually putting in there. It just, we're going to look at it and say, was it accurate? But we're actually using your transcript, okay? Once you've put in some information into Apply Alberta, it'll take you about 15, 20 minutes to do that. You're going to then be able to go to, it's a bunch of gray bars. You'll be able to choose the University of Calgary. You click on that and it takes you to the University of Calgary site. If you've never been to the University of Calgary, you haven't done any dual credit with us, or you haven't taken any courses there, you're going to have to create what we call as an EID. That is a username, and it has very specific parameters, okay? Follow the instructions, and then your password as well. You're going to put in your password, once again, making sure it's case sensitive. Write these down because these look different from the ones that were in Apply Alberta. It looks different from your D2L. It looks differently from anything else you've used, okay? Follow the steps to do that. And what you'll hear is you're literally going to hear almost a whooshing sound from everything that you put into Apply Alberta is going to come over to the University of Calgary website, okay? So this is in the application. Now you're just reading it. What name do you want to be called? Put your social insurance number in and things like this. Then you're going to choose 2 programs, okay? Choose your first choice program. That's the program you're most interested in. Okay, if you're choosing an honors program, so maybe you want to do Bachelor of Health Sciences honors, or maybe you want to do biochemistry honors, or biological sciences honors, or zoology honors, you have to make that your first choice. Okay, you're allowed to choose 1 honors program. It has to be a first choice. Okay, and then you choose a second choice program. This is the program that you're also interested in. You meet the admission requirements. I like to suggest that it usually has maybe a slightly lower admission average, just to kind of give you a bit of a safety net in case for some weird reason the program you applied to had a really high average. It gives you a chance to make sure that with your great marks you still have an opportunity to join us, okay? You put all those things in there, you're writing, making sure you're saving everything as you go along so you can come back. You're going to be able to, if you're applying for diverse qualifications, you'll check that box. If you're not, so diverse qualifications is maybe your marks. Maybe you're an athlete, so you've been away from school quite a bit. Maybe your marks were a little bit impacted, but you're being a competitive athlete. It was something else. Maybe you were in hospitalized for a certain length of time. Maybe you were in a car accident or something. You were hospitalized for some time, so it impacted your marks. That's why you would do diverse qualifications. Okay. Then you fill it all in. You'll need your parents or your guardian's credit card to pay for the application fee. And as soon as you do that, you're going to get an email right away from the University of Calgary. And that email is going to allow you then it's going to have your UCID. Okay, that's an ID number. Make note of it. Okay, it's going to allow you to have access right away to the University of Calgary's website for yourself, for your application, and you can track everything along. What you have to know is, remember, you're going to get that email almost instantly after you pay for it on the credit card. But please give it about 2 or 3 hours just to catch up, okay? The system, you've applied, but the system has to recognize that the 2 pieces. Otherwise, if you try and log right way back in to say, oh, what does it look like? You'll see that it's it won't let you in. You'll be like, I'm sure she told me it would work, and it will. Just give it a couple of hours. Once you've applied, you will get access to the scholarship and awards application, okay? Just kind of flowing. I'm anticipating where maybe the questions are going to go here. With the Prestige Awards, that has a December 1st deadline, so be aware of that. That's one of the reasons why you want to apply early. And then the High School Awards has a March 1st deadline. There's over $17 million in awards, okay? The University of Calgary gave away just short of $5 million to incoming entering students for 2020, so for fall 2020. So there's lots of scholarship money. If you have a high school average of 95% or higher, you are eligible for the President's Award. If you score an IB score of 35 or higher on your full diploma, you're eligible for an IB Entrance Award, okay? And those could be combined with other awards as well that you'd be applying for, okay? You could go in and complete those awards applications, because why shouldn't you go after get some money, okay? You guys are all outstanding students. You'll all be bringing wonderful things to the table. Just talking to Rihanna a little bit about what she's been doing. She's got lots of things that are going to be able to check lots of blanks on her scholarship application as well, okay? So put them all in there. That's your chance to brag about yourself. Because we are a mark-based university, we're using your 5 marks to calculate your average, okay, on your courses for your admission average. There's only a few programs that actually have a supplementary application. Bachelor of Health Sciences, your Bachelor of Fine Arts, so if that was music, so say you wanted to pursue music, there would be an audition as well as your theory test. There's a portfolio for the visual arts, okay, visual studies there, and also there's a drama audition, okay? So those are the only ones that have additional pieces. Everything else is a mark-based. So you want to be focusing on those pieces there. Once you've applied, the application's open on October 1st. Okay, so apply early. And the reason you apply early is what we do is what we call ongoing admission. So rolling admission sometimes is what high school students call it. What that means is when you apply, say on October 1st or October 2nd, we're going to look at we're going to call for your transcript. We usually get those in about end of October, early November from Alberta Alberta Education, sorry. And we'll look and see, do you have the admission average for your first choice program? If you have what we need, we're going to send you an offer, okay? If you don't have, maybe we set the first round of offers a little bit higher or something like that. If you don't have it, we're going to look then at your second choice automatically on your behalf, okay? If you have your second choice and you have the average right away, we'll send you an offer right away on your second choice because we want you to have peace of mind either on your first choice or your second choice so you can actually focus on your high school, focus on your schoolwork for your last year, focus on your volunteering, your part-time jobs, whatever else you're doing, okay? If you get a second choice offer, don't be disappointed. You will forget this, so you will email me or you will phone me, okay? And it's okay, and I will answer this question, and I will answer it lots of times this year, okay? So say you applied for Bachelor of Health Sciences as your first choice, and you did Biological Sciences as your second, okay? Bachelor of Health Sciences, just so you know, because it has a supplementary application, they don't send out early offers, okay? So they don't send out an early offer. But we look at you and we say, hey, we can offer you biological sciences. So we send you an offer for biological sciences. And your heart is a little bit sad because you phone me and you're like, I didn't get into my first choice. What should I do? I thought my marks were really good. What should I do? Should I repeat a class? Whatever. And I'll be like, well, no, that was just the first time we looked at you. We're going to look at you again at the end of January. So in February, when you've written your first semester final marks, we're going to look at you again. If you now have what we need, we'll send you the first choice. Okay. Bachelor of Health Sciences, just so you know, tends to go out, those offers, the first round go out towards the end of February, okay? If we can't make you an offer still on your first choice, we're gonna look again and again. We're gonna keep looking until till the program either fails or whatever. But you can accept your second choice, for example, biological sciences, and it won't impact you being considered for your first choice at all. We'll still look at you for your first, okay? So you can just say, you know what, I'm going to accept my offer. It gives me peace of mind. And I just know I have to keep working until they get around to doing their business. Okay. If you want to make changes to your application, because sometimes we apply to things in October and November and we think we've got it all figured out. And then suddenly we discover, you know what, I really actually did enjoy my English class and I actually want to change my program from biological sciences to English. You can make changes to your application right up until March 1st. Okay. You make changes to your application, you'll probably be contacting me on how to do that, and I'll walk you through those steps at that time. I won't worry about that for right now. How are we doing with applications? Does that sort of make sense? Do you have any other questions about it?
I think that was really detailed. I'm pretty sure that I learned quite a bit about the application. I didn't know anything in that much detail. So I did have a few questions about what you said. Firstly,
Okay.
with Apply Alberta, is that the portal that you use for all the Alberta universities?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, so if you input everything in once, you don't have to do it multiple times, right?
No, you don't. But what you need to be aware of is the University of Calgary has a different process than some of the other institutions. So you need to be filling it out completely. Some of your other institutions will ask you to predict your grades. The University of Calgary doesn't. So if you're being asked to predict your grades, do that for the institution that's asking you. We don't care about what's written in there, okay? Does that make sense? And if you're being, some institutions will need like a grade 10, like a, or a 20 level class or something like that, a 10 or a 20 level class because of their institution. So you'll need to put that into that application for them. Okay. Don't be worried about it for the University of Calgary. We need 30 level. We're going to use your grade 11, so your 20 level classes as a placeholder to calculate your admission average until we see the 30 level classes completed. So if you completed, maybe in your IB program, you finished all your math in grade 11 or even in grade 10 or whatever it was you finished it in, well, we'll use it at the 30 level completed then, but we won't be worrying about the 20. But if we don't have an English 30-1, we'll use your 20-1 until we see it. Because remember, we're pulling everything off the transcript. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. So we just had a question come in from someone in the chat. They were wondering if you compete against people in your own school or if it's just the total applicant pool. So I'm guessing in comparison, I don't really think that applies just because it is a marks-based thing, but do you want to add something?
So you're talking about competing with each other. So when you're looking at it, what we will do is we're going to set the admission average at a certain percentage, okay? We set it at 99.99 or what, I'm just making that up to be silly, okay? But we'll set an average there. We're going to start, of course, looking at people coming down, right? We always start with those that are above that, right? Those that are right at the cutoff average, those are the ones, you know, you're going to sit until we get there, right? If you're below the cutoff average of what we've set, you'll sit the longest, right? So those that we know we can't admit, we can tell you quite quickly, right? But of course, even you, we're not going to tell because maybe you're having a different semester going on, so your final marks are going to change things for you as well. You'll just take longer to hear from us. Okay, does that make sense? So we don't, some of our pools are smaller cohort pools. So like the Bachelor of Science, Neuroscience, it's an honors program. It's a very small cohort. So of course we start at the top with the highest average that's presented. And that's where we extend our first offer because it is such a small cohort. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That was pretty helpful. One more question that came in. What happens if your 30 mark is less than your projected mark and you already got an acceptance?
Okay, so what happens is, yeah, you guys all worry about this, especially in February. So right around Valentine's Day, February 14th, your teacher's convention is when your first semester diploma marks are released, and they're released to us. And then starts the phone calls for the next 2 weeks panicking, right? So you're going to get an offer. If you get, say you apply in October, you get an offer in November or December, and we say, we've admitted you to the Schulich School of Engineering for the Bachelor of Science Engineering. You're asked to maintain a competitive admission average, okay? So if we admit you at 90%, we admit you at 85, we're asking you to maintain a competitive admission average. The final competitive admission average will be released mid-May, okay? If you do not graduate high school, if you do not complete the required courses for admission to your program, if you do not maintain the admission average you were asked to maintain, we can rescind your offer. Okay, but you can take a class more than one time if you need to. We will use the highest mark you achieve in that course.
Okay, I think that's a bit more reassuring though.
Yeah, and, but what you need to worry about mostly is focus on doing the best you can with the courses that you've got. So once you get your offer, do the best you can to hold your offer to maintain that, okay? If things are going sideways and stuff like that, do your best, reach out, okay? The more competitive the program, the less wiggle room there is going to be for the admission average to change, okay? So if you're admitted at 88% and it's a really competitive program, it's probably only going to go down to maybe 87.5, okay? If you're admitted at a program that's not, you had an average of 90, but maybe the admission average was 85, there might be a bit more room, okay? So it just depends, okay? So the smaller the cohort, the more competitive the program, the less wiggle room there is for your admission average to change, okay?
Okay. So could you talk a bit more about honors programs? So like what is exactly the difference between a Bachelor of Science honors compared to a regular Bachelor of Science? And why would a student want that?
Okay, so let's start with what honors even is. So in high school, you guys get over 85% in your classes, and that's called honors, right? You guys are on honor roll. We call that the dean's list at university. So if you get a GPA over a certain GPA, we call that the dean's list. So that's our honor roll. If you want to choose a program, so there's a couple of ways you can do honors. If you even want to do it, honors you don't need to do. It is definitely for somebody who wants to really push themselves, who's got maybe a burning research question, maybe wants to push their knowledge, their education further in that area. Okay, so there are some programs that are honors that you can apply to from high school. Okay, so that is, you can do Bachelor of Health Sciences honors, you can do Biological Sciences honors from high school, you can do Zoology honors from high school, Biochemistry honors from high school, just to name a few, okay? What that means is I'm actually saying that I want to go further. I want to do thesis, I want to do a research type question. And I know that from high school. So maybe already in high school, I already know that I want to do, I have that burning question already. I want to go further. I want to push my knowledge, neuroscience, whatever. Okay, so then I'm going to say that. So inside of the honors program, you are part of a small cohort. You're going to have to do a certain number of prescribed courses that are going to be set every year. You're going to have to maintain a certain GPA in order to stay in the honors program. Okay. You're going to have opportunities to do lots of enrichment there. But what you're going to do is in your 4th year, you're going to create your own honors, your own research questions. So maybe I'm going to come up with, I want to find out the ethical implications of a COVID-19 vaccination or whatever, right? So I'm going to do my research around that. You're going to do all your research, but you're going to create your own research project. You're going to send it to, you're going to have to go through ethics. So the University of Calgary Ethics Board for approval. Okay. You're going to do the research, conduct the research, write up the research. You're going to present your research to a certain number of professors who are part of your honors program. And you'll defend you're basically defending your thesis. Okay. As part of so it's your capstone, right? It's part of that piece there. So that's one way to do honors. The second way to do honors is some programs, I just start, say, Bachelor of Arts English or chemistry or physics or something like that. I just start from high school and I'm doing really, really well at it. I'm doing really well and I've got a real passion to go further with it. And I didn't know I wanted to do that when I first started at university, but I can apply for honors in my upper years of some of those programs as well. And then I'm doing that piece. Okay, so there is that other piece. I can maintain a high GPA without ever going into honors and still be on the dean's list. Okay, what is the advantage and disadvantage? It's completely up to you. What you should know is that if you choose the honors program and you're admitted to it, you will be required to maintain a certain number of courses per year, per semester, as well as maintain a GPA. If your GPA falls below that program average, you will be asked to not be part of the honors anymore. Okay, and you do have to carry a full course load, which is 5. Okay. Is there an advantage or a disadvantage to going on? So what happens if I want to go on past my bachelor's degree? I want to go into medicine. I want to go into law. I want to go into getting a master's in grad school, whatever it might be. Do I need to be part of an honors program? You don't need to be. You can be, definitely. What you want to do is, it's sort of like when you just want to take what's going to enrich your program for you. So maybe I'm somebody who really, I'm going to get a good GPA. I want to get a good GPA. I'm going to maintain Dean's List GPA, but I really want to have the opportunity to be involved in the co-curricular. I want to volunteer. I want to be involved in student union and things like that. Maybe I don't want to do an honors program, and that's totally legitimate and totally fine. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good that students have that option, just depending on what they want to do.
It does. So just remember, when you're applying to the University of Calgary, if it is an honors program, it has to be a first choice. Yeah. If you want to eventually do honors in it, you won't be making an honors choice from high school, because not every program allows you to choose honors from high school. Okay, but you will find at the University of Calgary, there is co-op options involved in all of our programs at the University of Calgary. There are research opportunities at the University of Calgary, even if you're not involved in honors. Okay, and that's including right from English, philosophy, sociology, urban studies, right through to the sciences and your engineerings and nursing as well, because we are a research institution. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. So a few more questions that came in. How similar is U of C in the application process compared to similarly ranked universities such as U of A and UBC?
Well, I can't speak to their application. All I can tell you is what ours is. We are a mark-based university. We're going to use your final grades, not your predicted grades. We only have a certain number of programs that have supplementary application. Where we want to see your details about your extracurricular, your part-time job, your financial need, whatever else you've got going on, that's in the awards application. So we're looking at 5 courses. English 30-1 is mandatory for all of our programs, and then the additional 4 courses. So we're looking at that competitive average for that.
Okay. What does the neuroscience average look like consistently? And they're asking if they should take classes to raise their overall grade right away in first semester.
Okay, so neuroscience is a very small cohort for our students. Okay, we have 30 seats. So you're looking at an average in the mid to high 90s, okay, on the 5 courses that you need, okay? If you're repeating a course, so say I finished Math 30-1 in June, okay? And I didn't like my grade. Things were kind of sideways with this whole COVID thing, and I decided I want to redo that class. That's fine, redo it. But remember that when we first look at your application in October, we see the Math 30-1 that you got in June, okay? We see that. And as soon as we get the new Math 30-1 mark, we'll replace it. So say you got 78 in Math 30-1 in June. So we're going to use that a first time, but now you have redone it and you finish it in first semester, and now you get, say, 98. Well, of course, we're going to use the 98. We don't care about the 78 anymore, okay? So we use your 20 levels as a placeholder until we see the 30 level, and we use if you've already completed the 30 level, we use that as already put into your application, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you already finished Social 30-1, even if you think you don't need it for your program and you're hoping to use something higher, well, you finish Social 30-1. It's a mark we can see. We know it's a 30 level class we can take. Until we can replace it, we use it. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think moving on to things like AP and IB, a lot of the students here obviously have been taking at least partial IB. So is there any sort of a boost with that in the admissions process? And can you speak more so on getting university credit for first year courses with AP and IB courses?
Okay, so first of all, you'll need to get the offer of admission first, okay? So let's talk about IB first. Okay, so if you complete the full IB diploma and you score a 35 or higher on the full diploma, you're eligible for an IB entrance award, but you also would then be eligible for that advanced credit, okay, taking those HL and everything like that. If you're doing the partial IB, we're going to be using those courses individually, okay? With the advanced placement courses, if you're doing advanced placement because you're picking and choosing those courses, we're going to be using those advanced placement. And if you would be then you're always going to have to make sure that the official results are sent to the University of Calgary. So if you do AP, if you do IB, you must send the results to the University of Calgary, even if you don't want us to include those as part of your credits, okay? We have to see them as part of your education history. We're not going to penalize you for them. So we're not going to worry that you got a 1 on one of your IBs or you got a 1 in your AP. We're not going to penalize you for it, but it's part of your education history. You must include it for us, okay? So you need to put that all in there. You're scoring, you're looking at 4s and 5s for APs. We're going to then talk about advanced credit for those. You'll be having that conversation after you get admitted to the University of Calgary, after you have accepted your offer and you're choosing your courses for your faculty, because now your faculty will award that advanced credit for you. And then what that does is it opens up the courses that you need to get into then for your program. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's not really something students should be worrying about right now, more so until after they get their admission.
Yeah, so focus on doing your best you can, get the best grades you can in your courses. Enjoy the enrichment of the programs you've chosen. So if you've chosen IB, whether it's a full or a partial, whether it's AP, 4 classes, 2 classes, or 1 classes, enjoy what you're learning and get the best grade you can. And we'll worry about the other piece after you get your offer and accept your offer.
Yeah, okay.
And tell us about it in your application, on your awards application. You're going to find I love to tell everybody about money. Always apply for money. Okay, so if you're taking a full IB, tell us you're taking full IB. If you're taking a partial IB, tell us. If you're taking AP, tell us you're doing that. Find a place inside your application to tell us that, okay?
So the other question kind of has to do with the IB diploma. So the students in Alberta, if they are taking the IB diploma, they end up getting the double diploma, the Alberta and the IB. So do they have to choose one that they apply with, or can they use like both marks, if that makes sense?
You need to submit both of them to us.
Okay.
We need to see both. Automatically, we will get your Alberta education transcript, but you need to also give us the IB. Okay. We're not going to penalize you though. Okay. So if IB doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, we're not going to penalize you. Okay. Our goal in life is to advantage you, not to disadvantage you. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a fair system too. Just understanding everything.
You guys are under enough pressure. We understand that.
The next few questions kind of have to do with student life. So I think firstly, just to get started, are there any fun student traditions you could tell us about?
Okay, so we have lots of different things. So the University of Calgary, one of the things, and I always get really excited about this one. This is something that sort of I really love, is we take a lot of pride in being a caring community. And what that means is we take a lot of pride in volunteering and giving back to our community, whether it's to our community on campus, to the city of Calgary, to the province of Alberta, okay, or bigger than that. So we take a lot of pride in being a part of a caring community. So because of that, one of the things we've done is we've created a co-curricular transcript. So you get your academic transcript that says, you took your biologies and your Englishes and all those things. But if you are also involved in the co-curricular, at the end of when you graduate and you walk across the stage, we'll also issue a co-curricular that says the number of volunteer hours and where you volunteered, things like that. One of the things that we do in our orientation welcome week is there's a number of events to bring you together. There's a commencement that welcomes you to campus. Lots of activities. It's going to look a little different this year, but probably they're hoping it'll look the same for you guys when you guys get here the following year. But there's all these different activities where you get a chance to meet some of your faculty and get engaged and meet people. And then we have a kickoff. So we have the football kickoff where we do the first Dinos game. We get everybody to come out for that. And some of the other activities we have that bring our community together is we have Pack the Jack night, which is when we have our basketball classic. Okay, we pack the jack. We try and get as many of our students and our faculty and everybody in to come watch the basketball game. Okay, your student ID card will get you into all of the sporting events. Okay, you don't have to pay extra for that, except for when we make it to the playoffs. Okay, we make it to the Vanier Cup. So there's that. We also have the Crowchild Classic, and as you can well imagine, what the Crowchild Classic means is we are going to have our men and our women's hockey teams. They play down at the Calgary Saddle Dome there against Mount Royal. Okay, so they have a Crowchild Classic. It's named aptly, and we get as many faculty and students out as we can to down to the Saddle Dome to watch the men and the women play 2 hockey games. Of course, you cheer on your team. It's the rivalry between the 2 pieces of the Crowchild, the north and the south end, and there is a very large prize that goes into the Crowchild Classic. It is a manhole cover. It is a manhole cover. It is the bragging rights of the school that gets to win that. Okay, so there's those pieces of campus life. On campus as well, it always occurs the first week of school, is we have a clubs week. Okay, and in the clubs week, what you can do is all of our clubs are out there and you can come and sign up. We have over 300 plus clubs. We invite you to come and sign up for any you're interested in. Maybe you've got some you're thinking about already, maybe you've never heard of. We've got our ski and snowboard club, which is very popular. It's one of our older clubs. We've got an anime club. We've got chess clubs. We've got tea drinking. I always used to tease people and say, if you can't find a club that you want, you get 9 friends and you go to student union and you tell them, we all want to talk about the merits of tea drinking. And with 9 friends, they'll give you funding and allow you to set up a club. There's now a tea drinking club. Apparently, I talked about tea drinking so much, there's now a tea drinking club. But if you can't find your club that you want to join, Model UN, whatever, if you can't find it and you've got a number of friends, come and do that. So clubs weeks, you can come sign up for all of those. Maybe you're somebody who wants to be involved in intramurals. You want to play intramural dodgeball. You want to play whatever, I don't know, soccer. Maybe you want to play it more competitively. Maybe you want to play it more recreationally. You can join intramurals and you can you can come with a team, you can join a team, whatever you want. That's different from the varsity teams, of course, which of course are another way to be involved in the community. There's the student union. We have our radio station. We have our newspaper on campus if you'd like to do that. So, maybe Rihanna, you would like to be on the radio because you host already or something. Or maybe you'd like to write for the newspaper. You could do that as well. Okay. What else can we do? Our students, we do have lots and lots of employment opportunities on campus for you as well. If you're thinking, well, how does the University of Calgary hire students? Yes, we do. 2 of our co-op students are currently working with us in our recruitment team. So there's lots of co-op opportunities for that to get involved. Volunteering, I love to talk about volunteering. I talked about that one already, but I can talk about that one again. There's lots of opportunities though, okay? If you can't find your place, come and find somebody and they will help you find something to get involved in, okay? If you're involved, if you want to live on campus, of course, there's an additional piece of residence that has another center, a piece of community that they get involved with as well. So concerts and evening events that you can get involved in. During Welcome Week as well, they have everything where students can go and watch movies, they can do whatever. Thursday nights, very popular in the gymnastic area. It's Thursday night. You can go into the gymnastics and try the equipment and just do some tumbling and things like that in there. Very popular foam pit to go and jump in and relieve your stress is always there. Your student card will also get you access to the fitness facility that's there as well. So you'll be able to, go in and to use the exercise, the swimming pool, whatever you might like. Okay, if you're involved in, if you choose the Schulich School of Engineering and that's where you go, you'll find that they have their whole student lounge and student area as well, where they have the ping pong table and the foosball going and stuff like that. That's just one of the places that has their own place like that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really nice that there's so many different opportunities, right? There's something for everybody.
There is definitely something for everybody. If you can't find your something, then come and talk to somebody, because we can probably find it. Or if we can find 9 more people who want to do it as well, we'll find a way to get it going.
Okay, so there's obviously a lot of places for university students to get involved in the campus, but do you guys have any programs catering to high school students who might want to learn a bit more about University of Calgary or its specific programs?
So we do have our virtual open house coming up. That'll be on October 3rd. I would encourage you all to sign up for that. Come and talk to faculty, try some different things that way. So there's that. We have webinars that we'll do throughout the fall and winter as well. So take part in those, because that's a chance to come and listen to a faculty specific, maybe the Faculty of Science or Engineering or Commerce or whatever it might be. What else do we have? You probably have as well seen a number of different events that your high schools coordinate as well up at the University of Calgary that we're a part of. So like your Discovery Days in Health Sciences, that's hosted through the Canadian Medical Hall of Fame, and the University of Calgary is one of the hosts for that. We have our Women in Engineering Discovery Days. There's a big Model UN that goes on that the different schools are involved in that come up to the University of Calgary that they help to be a part of. What else do we have that you can try? If you're interested in being involved in research, you could probably start reaching out already. You might find some of those opportunities there. There is some dual credits you guys have had opportunities and access to, like the psychology or the English class or the math class. Okay. What else would you like to be involved in?
I think that pretty much covers it. Things like research and dual credit and all of that. And there's obviously hires, which I think a lot of students have already participated in or signed up for.
Oh, yes. And I didn't talk about that one because I thought you guys were all grade 12s, because that you have to have done by grade 11.
yeah, that was last summer.
Yeah.
What about talking? Sorry, never mind. I just got a question in. Could you talk a bit more about student services, so things like careers or like mental health services, any of that?
Okay, for sure. So we do take quite a bit of pride in the full spectrum of services that we offer. So we have accessibility services. What this is it's for anybody it's to make sure that everybody's experiencing education from their post-secondary experience, from what's going to make them the most successful. So maybe you're somebody who has an IPP in high school. Maybe you need larger print. Maybe you need quiet space. Maybe you need a scribe, somebody to read your notes, to whatever it might be. Okay, so there's accessibility services that will be put into place for you. You have the biggest thing about university. What you need to know is you need to ask for what you need. We don't know what you want or need unless you ask us for it. So you have to become an advocate for yourself. A great way for you to start practicing that, if you're not already a good advocate for yourself or you're not comfortable doing it, is you're going to be able to practice asking me questions for the fall, okay? And you can practice advocating for yourself by asking me questions, okay? And I'll happily answer them for you. So you've got your student accessibility. you would be talking to them. So after you get admitted to university, you would reach out to them in about May or June to put everything into place so that if you needed a larger print in your textbook, that it's all there for the start of September, okay? Under our Student Success Center, they offer everything in there. So they have the career services in there. So you'll find that they will help you with resume writing, cover letters, interview practice, applications. They have a job board in there. Maybe you're not sure what you want to study, what you want to major in. They can do some career workshops in there with you as well. Also in Student Success Center, they also offer a lot of different types of workshops. And students tend to not take part in those right away. They tend to think, oh, I'm good, I've got this all handled from high school, I was doing good in high school, I don't need this. University is a different cat, okay? It's a very different breed from what high school was. So there's workshops in there to tell you how to take notes, how to study, how to prepare for a multiple choice exam versus an essay exam, how to do stress management, time management, how to organize yourself, your time, your courses, your notes, whatever it is. There are tutors in there as well. There's peer tutors in there. So maybe you need help with a statistics class or a math class, there will be tutors available. The first time you're writing your first paper in there, you've all written papers for high school, but you're going to come along into university and we're going to ask you, you might want to take part in our writing center for the first couple of times, or maybe even more throughout your whole 4 years. But we're going to ask you, oh, are you writing it in AP format, APA format? Are you doing Chicago? Are you doing MLA? How are you citing your stuff? And you're going to be like, what? Those are all different ways. And so your class, you might be in 3 classes that need you to write 3 different formats and cite in 3 different ways. We have a workshop that can help you with that, okay? So that's in your Student Success Center. In your Student Wellness Center, that's where you're going to find access to mental health professionals. You're going to find doctors, nurses, dietitian if you need it. There's workshops in there, stress management, time management. The dog therapy comes out of there. So if you want to come and do the petting of the dogs, you'll find that that comes out of there. So there's lots of different supports throughout the university for you in lots of different places. If you live in residence, all those services will also be available to you right in your learning community right there as well as in the bigger community at the university. Okay, we have the Writing Symbols Lodge for our Indigenous students. It's our home away for home for them. We have what else do we have in there? We have, oh my gosh, it all exists. It's all in there. Okay. The University of Calgary has not cut any of those services at all. Okay. We've made sure that those services stay in place. In fact, we've enriched them and we continue to enrich them as we go along.
I think that's really good to have too for students, because I think the transition can definitely be difficult at times. So just having some help. Yeah. I think we've basically covered everything that we need to talk about, but I just wanted to ask you if there's anything you wanted to emphasize or bring up about the university that most students might not know about, and also if you just have any last advice.
What are some of the things that you might not know about the University of Calgary? We are a top 6 ranked research university. Okay, we have got received quite a bit of funding in terms of COVID research. So there's quite a bit of different types of COVID research going on the campus. We are the only university in Canada to receive one of 4 grants from the NFL in terms of concussion protocol and research. So we're doing that. So we have a human performance lab at the university. So we've got that going on. What else wouldn't you know? You've probably seen the solar car racing and winning and stuff like that at the University of Calgary with our Schulich School of Engineering. What else can I tell you? There's just so much there. The biggest thing is open house is October 3rd. Okay. I'm here to answer any questions you are and help you transition and move through that piece. Okay. No question is too big. No question is too small. It might take me a few days to get back to you, but I will answer each and every one of your questions if you ask me, okay?
Yeah. One student was wondering if they would be able to call you instead of email, and if there's somewhere that they can find your number.
So right now, the best thing to do is if you want to have a phone call rather than an email, send me an email to calgary.recruiter@ucalgary.ca. Okay, send me an email. Give me your name, put your phone number and say, can you please call me? Give me your phone number. And then tell me, Monday to Friday, you can catch me best between 9 a.m. and 12 o'clock or whatever. And if you give me a few days and times to reach you, I will reach back out to you with a phone call then. Okay.
Awesome. I just send your email to the chat for anyone that wanted that.
Thank you.
Other than that, I think we're good. Thank you so much for being here. This was really helpful. And, you went into a lot of details about the application process and all of that.
Okay.
Sure, it's really helpful. So,
and the biggest thing you're going to remember is you're going to start and then things are going to get kind of confusing. Just reach out. Okay. There's always, I'm always there to help. Okay. Don't get gummed up and don't get panicked about it. Even if you're just kind of stressed about a math test that didn't go the way you wanted, send me an email. Okay. Eventually the phones will start working again and I can just pick up the phone and you can phone me just as easy. But if you want me to talk to you, just phone. Okay. I'm happy to reach out to you that way. Okay. I understand how stressful it is. I worked in high school for a lot of years. I know how much pressure you guys are under. Okay. And my job is really to help make it easier for you. Okay.
Okay.
You guys focus on the schoolwork. I'll focus on the other part. How's that sound?
Great. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you everybody for being here. This will be recorded and posted soon, hopefully by the end of this week. I guess that's it. So bye, Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I look forward to hearing from you all. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.